I'm Laurence from Etiquette CIC. If you don't know me, if you don't know Etiquette, Etiquette is a new community organization based in Northampton, and the aim of Etiquette is to enhance and uplift the health, social, emotional, and financial well-being of individuals within marginalized communities residing in the UK by implementing innovative educational, cultural, and social initiatives. So we have started a project aimed at improving the health and emotional well-being of single parents. And we have a series of Zoom sessions every month. We have one session, and coupled with also face-to-face session in the community. Nice to see you, Lady T. And today is our third Zoom session of the year. So we started in January, and now we are talking today. The aim of today is building a support network, and we're looking at the power of community. So we have, at the moment, I can see two of our panelists. We're expecting more panelists this evening, and they will join us at some point. And again, I repeat again, they are single parents, so we have to be really patient with them. It's part of our the aim of our group, of our community group, to allow them to be part of and also have a say. I will ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and before I do that, I will encourage all attendees or online to really participate. It's your voice. We want to hear more of you. After this project will enable us to really raise more funding for single parents and have a meaningful impact in their life. And we need to know what they need, what they want, and where they want us to go about it. If we don't meet the needs, it's really pointless to have those discussions. I will also ask some people who have just joined us to please mute yourself and only have your mic on when you are contributing. For the participants, they will answer some of our questions. And if you are not, the panelists will answer our questions. If you are not a panelist, you can contribute as well, but in the chat section. And at the end, we will really welcome your contribution and really acknowledge them by answering your questions. So at the moment, we will start with our first panelist. We will ask Narcisse at some point if you can write your name correctly. I know your initial, but please. While you're doing that, I will start with Lady T. If you can introduce yourself and the different habits you carry, so that people will know who you are. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, it's.
Don't worry, Narcisse. I will start with Lady T while you're doing that. Let's Lady T start, and we come back to you. Thank you. Lady T, to you.
Hi, I'm Toro. That's my real name, aka Lady T. Obviously, that's a preferential name. So, I think I'm a social worker. I've been in this profession for quite a number of years, and I wear also the heart of a trauma-informed coach and practitioner. I work with women, single women actually, within the community and especially within the Christian faith community. And I am also, out of all of this, a single mom of 3 amazing men in the making, right? So yes, I've got an 18-year-old, and then the youngest is a 12-year-old going on 18 actually. So yeah, so that's what I am. So I'm really honored to be here.
Good, fantastic. Lady T, you said something, but you said so fast. I don't think people have catch that. Tell us more about the trauma counseling.
All right. Okay. So I'm a trauma-informed coach. Obviously, trauma, as many of you are very aware of that word now, because there's a lot of emphasis on trauma everywhere you go. People are talking about trauma. Oh, that was traumatizing. And so we know, obviously, based on research, the impact of trauma and how almost every one of us here have been through some kind of traumatic event in life that has shaped us and actually has shaped the way we actually show up in our world and how we have developed our personality and our coping strategies and basically how we run our lives, the decisions we make, the choices we make, because obviously we know that trauma has a huge impact on shaping the brain. And we know that every other thing where our makeup is actually centralized by the brain. So I love watching women just coming into that. I don't just work with women in that regards where trauma is related, but I just really love to see people come to terms with the fact that, oh my God, the penny just dropped. Oh, this is why I'm showing up like this. And it goes a lot into our childhood experiences and the link between adversity in childhood and actually who we become later on as adults. So if you're out there and you feel that you really want someone to work with, plus I'm a Christian, so I bring my Christian faith into the work that I do, because I know that there is power supernaturally to hasten some things and bring healing. So that's what I do. And I also do some counseling. I'm a Christian, almost certified Christian counselor. So but I do some part-time counseling. Obviously, yeah, if you're wanting any of that, that would be at a reduced price.
Thank you. So that's why I asked you to elaborate a little bit more. As you can see, Lady T is very articulate. She's been selected for a specific reason. I know her personally, and she does a great job. So for single parents, we do have a bit of funding to support those who who really need counseling or want to have a taste of counseling, because it's really limited. Contact us. We will have our details, and if you send your email address in the chat section, we will contact you, and you will have the opportunity to have a test of counseling and the trauma coaching that Lady T is providing. Now we have our second panelist, who's also a very he's got wealth of knowledge in the subject and professionally, and is Narcisse Diakabana. If you can introduce yourself, Narcisse, and tell us a little bit about your work.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Narcisse Diakabana. I'm a senior social worker with Birmingham Children's Services. And I've been working as a social worker for 6-7 years now. And I also, apart from being a professional, I do play a very massive role within my community, principally the Black community, because I do get people coming to me asking for advice, especially when being involved with social services. Sometimes they don't know what to do. And also, I got a very small organization within my local area, and I used to provide support mainly to new arrivals in the country in terms of health, how to access public fund, things like that. So I'm happy to be with you tonight, and let's see what we're going to bring together. Thank you.
Hey, fantastic. And I just want to, emphasize, thank you very much, Narcisse, for that. I just want to emphasize on one thing. We have people from different locations in, on this platform. I will kindly ask you to just write. Can you all just write your location? So if you are in South Africa, if you are in the UK, be specific. Like Lady T is in Milton Keynes. I'm in Northampton. Narcisse is in Birmingham. Can you just so we can have a sense of where people are, joining us from? That's amazing. So we have people from Bedford. Fantastic. And yes, that's amazing. So just use the chat section and tell us where you are, and we will start. Yes. Hi there. Oh, London is in the house. Johannesburg is in the house. Who else do we have? Yes, somebody in Bedford. I think Bedford. Yeah, Cambridgeshire. Fantastic. Hi, Kemi. Where else? Who else do we have? I'm sure we have somebody from Leeds. I can recognize the name from Leeds. If you can just type in the chat section Leeds, so we can see that you are not. So we all spread across, and I'm sure we have somebody from Pretoria, not just Johannesburg. So you are all welcome. Now, that's the spirit that you want us to have really today to contribute to this conversation. Well done, everybody. Now, we will start with our first question. So we have a series of questions for our panelists, and it doesn't mean that you don't have anything to say. Participant, share your views, add comments in the chat section like you've just done now. The first question for our panelists is again related to the topic, which is network support, support building a network of support. Yes, good evening, Pastor Samuel Mususu from Leeds. We're very honored to have you. You've taken the time to join us. So our first question for our panelists is, let me see, have you personally experienced the benefit of being part of a support network as a single parent? And what specific advantages have you observed? So that could be changed into, if you know, I know, Narcisse, you're not a single parent, but can you tell us a little bit about benefits of being part of a support network in your opinion? And also, what specific advantages have you observed? So tell me a little bit more about that. Is it Narcisse wants to start, or Lady T? Who will be first?
Okay, thank you for. Oh, let leave it to the ladies first.
I think, I just wanted to start by just saying that, as I mean, people of, color, be BAME community, there are stigmas to certain things which obviously prevents us from actually seeking help and being open and transparent. And unfortunately, that puts us at a disadvantage of being able to access support, and if you're not accessing support, then the rate at which you're able to bounce back, would actually be reduced. So I just wanted to say that I think that was one of the stigma that I had to, first of all, deal with becoming a single parent. Obviously, you go into marriage not planning to become a single parent, but life throws us curveball, and that was my own curveball. And obviously, at the point when I became a single parent, it became very apparent that there was really very little support around, because especially when I look around, all my friends are all married. So, I've just suddenly become a single parent. So it was, like I said, I had to overcome the shame and the stigma that was associated with becoming a single parent. And was that easy? No, but I believe that my faith actually helped me to be able to overcome that, because at the end of the day, it's like who I am is not defined by the life challenges that I face and what people's opinion is about me. So it took a lot of, obviously, renewal of my mind in terms of how I perceive myself, and allowing myself to be comfortable, accept the status that I'm in. Yes, I am now a single parent. That's it. It's not define me. So I had to start with that acceptance, but I couldn't accept it without dealing with the stigma and the shame. And obviously the next thing was, okay, what support do I have around me? And for me, straight away, the only support that was immediate and readily available was my kindred, in terms of family, siblings, parents, and all of that. And as much as they were very, very helpful, okay, and very supportive in every area. I mean, emotionally, financially, just name it. but many of them, everybody has a life and everybody lives, far away from each other. So I was still faced with the reality of parenting alone without actually having a community base to be able to seek support from. And so the next thing obviously was looking within the church community, which to my amazement, was quite lacking as well. Because like you say, I discovered that even within the church was almost like the most difficult place, because everybody just suddenly realizes you're now a single woman and you're probably going to take their husbands. So people become protective of that relationship, and you're like, okay, so that, like I said, was a bit challenging for me, and I had to face the fact that, okay, there are certain relationships that has to end because people put the boundaries around in terms of how far you can come, because they're overly protective that, you this hot, gorgeous can I just pump myself up a bit?
You are.
Beautiful woman, you're now a single mom, and my husband, hey God, please let me just protect my husband. So I still had a very few core friends that, when you look at how far we've come, they were able to be there to support me. But most importantly, what that did for me, I began to look out, obviously, to other agencies. I think Gingerbread, Ginger Man was, I'm not sure if I'm actually saying that right. I would check it. Was one of the communities that I found was supporting single parents, and I began to just check what resources they have. Again, they're all over the place, trying to look for groups, maybe mommy, parents group, that are local. And I realized that was actually becoming a bit challenging, and because they didn't really have anything locally for me. Even organizations like, obviously within the Christian communities, like Care for the Family, they do have a singles parent ministry, but again, everything was just out of reach. And so that made me, with time, begin to actually think about, okay, I will then need to start something. And that was how I began my journey of gathering the women in the church community who are single parents myself, and just begin to kind of like just meet. I think we started with twice a month, and just kind of like just chill, talk, do some Bible study. Everybody bring your kids, because where else are they gonna take their kids? And then obviously we just kind of like from there birth one of the ministries that I run, which is called The Whole Woman, which is to facilitate support for single parents, because like I said, it can be a very, very lonely journey, which a lot of people cannot understand because they're not in your shoes. Okay. And when you're faced with having to combine that with full-time work, it's just honestly, it is not easy. And being able to be in that community where you get each other, you can empathize, because you know what it means to be on this journey, together, became quite refreshing for me and for many of the women. And I began to also find strength and find fulfillment in the fact that, okay, I'm not alone. All these women are around me, and I'm also given out of my pain. So out of my experience, being able to also begin to, bring the community of single mothers together and begin to challenge the stigma and begin to see how we can empower each other. So I think I will probably just pause there.
You have the journey, yes. Thanks. I just want to see when Matilda said gingerbread. She just said
yes, gingerbread. Yes.
Yeah. Now, if I'm gathering what you said, Lady T, so it was a journey. Yeah, in the end, it was a journey to actually being able to identify, your support network and use the right support network to get you to where you are, and appreciate the advantage of the support network you have. Am I right to say that? Now it's a growing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's a growing journey where you are not the same where you were when people were judging you. You actually make something out of that and become a stronger person. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you actually answer my question about specific advantages. So you talk about your family, you talk about your church, you talk about the support network that you have created with those women.
Yes.
And that you call world women. So it's fantastic. And you can see before we get to Narcissus, Mary Lou's got a question for you, Lady T, but we go first to Narcissus and then we look at your question, Mary Lou. Okay. I like that. Now, Narcissus, yeah, to you.
Oh, yeah, thank you again. Before I say anything, I don't know how you managed to set up these questions, because when my view is that when we're talking about support network, it's not just mainly related to single parents. That can be as well for any married people, couple, because coming to this country where I am at the moment, as someone from the minority, Black, it's always challenging. See, obviously, I do understand that the challenge will possibly not be the same when you are a single parent or when you are a couple, because you rely on each other. So I do get that. But before talking about my personal experience, I think what we need to do is try to talk a little bit just about what we mean by support network. So it can be a group of professional, friend, family member. All together, you form that group, and being part of this kind of support network. The only example I will provide personally is when coming in the UK. First, I never spoke English in my life before. So the language was a very massive barrier for not just me, myself and my wife. So it took us really a short period try to adapt and to understand what was going on. And the way we did it is, as Lady T say, I think for us, the church did play a massive role, because when, for example, you're looking for people with the same background as yours, there are specific places you can go and find them. Personally, I'm a Christian Catholic, so I just went straight to the Catholic Church, and there was a specific one in Birmingham where you find out these Black people with French being their first language. So coming together and asking questions, trying to find exactly how these people did to be where they are now, did provide kind of foundation for us. But I will say it's not always easy. But one of the benefit of the advantage we did get from that is we didn't feel isolated anymore, and the stress or the anxiety with the immigration process. So it was still there, but it was less than when we arrived, because you've been meeting with people every Sunday and gathering, sharing information, people telling you what to do. If you want this particular food, this is how you can go, which shop you have to go, and they provide addresses and everything for you. So that's a little bit I can say about being part of a support network. And what I noticed after a few years, I myself become that kind of person, providing support to these people, not only single parents, but to everyone. And when I completed my training, my social work training, it even went a bit more, because people, when struggling with their children, how to manage, they started getting back to me, asking for advice and asking about the process, what's going to happen, what can you say to me? I'm struggling to deal with my child. I don't know what's going to happen. So when you provide that kind of support to these people, and you feel really valuable within your community.
Okay, thank you for that, Narcisse. I can see that you're giving us another perspective, but I really want us to stay in the context of single parents. So your professional, experience will definitely be valuable as well for people here. I'm going to go to the next question, but I can see Mary Lou have asked a question, which is definitely, one that I would like Lady T to answer. It's directed to Lady T. How much do you think your new persona of becoming a single parent, mother, is a mindset versus the actual reality? Viewing your new status as stigma versus being brave and stronger, for instance. So if you can keep it very, very, short, straight answer, short answer for us, Lady T, on this one, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that question, Marie. I think one of the things that I've often been faced with this kind of questions is the fact that there is a reality, okay, versus, and a lot of reality is conditioned by society. So you can't run away. It's just like if you go somewhere, you get a form, they'll say tick whether you're female, male, or whatever you are. There are certain conditions that makes you fall into certain category, and I know that I've met people who would say, oh, I'm not a single parent. Is your own mindset. It is just it's just a characteristic. It's just as a way of helping to define and identify a group of people, but it does not really define you. So in terms of whether it's a mindset, it can only become a mindset if you take it on as an identity. All right. So I just happen to be parenting alone without a husband in the house. That's where it stands with me. It does not define who I am. It does not mean I am less than. Yes, I totally agree that there is that element of bravery and strong and strength and all of that, but you discover that later. But it does not change from the fact that actually there is a stigma that the world, again, like I said, we live we're raised in society. The society, as identified certain things with certain people and certain outcomes, but does that mean that you embrace it? No, you don't embrace it. So I just hope, I don't know if I've answered that question. So it's not my identity. It is just the label. Again, it's the label that the world has placed on being able to identify characteristics, and that's just it. Yeah. But yes, you're right. I see myself more as a strong and a brave woman.
I can see Mary Louise, giving you a thumbs up. It means that you've answered the question. Thank you for that, Lady T. Now, our next question is for both of you again. Can you share some practical tips or strategies that single parents can use to effectively build connection within the communities and establish a reliable support network? And the key word really is reliable, yeah? Because Narcisse, I mean, you agree with me as a professional. We're both professional in that field. Where the support network is not always reliable. Yeah, that's the key thing. And if you can give some practical, I would say, please, let's keep it very short and sweet, because we want our participant to also, say something. And they're a bit shy. I don't know what, they're a bit timid. I know there are some people who have a lot to say, and I really encourage them. Otherwise, we will have to end this session earlier than we should. And I know you do have something to say on the topic. So please feel free to add some comments and questions like Mary has done. Thank you, Mary, for that. So should I start? Who wants to start? Lady T, Narcisse, who wants to start with that? Some practical tips.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll just start. I think what I would say is, as long as there is a temptation of just keeping to yourself, okay?
Yeah.
You cannot develop relationships by keeping to yourself. And I think it's about, and that's why I said that, you've got to accept what the situation is, and then put yourself out there. So for me, it was about, okay, I am still who I am by virtue of I'm still, a bubbly person, a friendly person. So my personality is, I'm still who I am. So I am going to go out and build friends. So met friends in my children's school. So it was all about putting myself forward. I realized that if I'm waiting for people to come and, speak to me, that would not necessarily happen. I have developed some relationships, but it was very, very few that came to approach me. So I literally had to step out, put myself out to actually, introduce myself to, kids, some of my kids' parents, and then we became friends from there. And I discovered that some of them are actually single parent. So then we're now able to share. Oh, I can pick your kids on this day. You can pick my kids on this day. So even when I went back to work, I now had one of them that was picking my kids every single day, because we had built relationships. I had put myself forward in terms of being reliable and then they obviously understanding the needs that we both have become very reliable support. So I'm just gonna keep it short. Like Laurence said, I might add later on, but I just want to say that, yeah.
And I think that's definitely a practical, tips that you're giving to single parents and to parents out there. I know what Narcisse would say it's for everybody, but yes, in this case, for single parents. So yes, this is definitely practical. Thank you, Lady T. Narcisse, to you, any practical tips you can give that you've seen, your families that you deal with use, and you feel that was a good, way of building, the support network?
I think we are currently living in the 21st century, and we got a powerful instrument with us, which is the internet. So if you really, really need something you're looking for, I think internet is there for you to search for. Rather than that, you also, I think Lady T did say it, it's about building relationship with when you're going pick children from school and meeting their parents. But I'm just talking about my little experience. I think attending the local church can be also an opportunity for you to find a kind of reliable support network. Also going to the local library. Normally they do have leaflets and things available so that you can access. And I think it's depend on each person and what is your personality. Some people they just like they are. They don't want maybe to be open to other. They will keep things and then just carry on. But I will say that opportunities are there. It's up to you to go get them.
Definitely. Thank you for that. That's definitely, very good, valuable tips. And when you talk about the internet, were you referring also to groups that people can actually join online and things like that as well? And somebody said something very interesting. Yeah, somebody said, learn to drive. If you can't drive, learn to drive and understand money. Wow, that's very powerful, Femi. So learn to drive and understand money. So yeah, by learning to drive, you can access more, opportunities are out there. Is that what you meant, Femi? And somebody says as well, single mom groups and walks. Yes, so you're joining what I was saying, single mom groups, single parents. So we're not gender specific, single parents groups and walks. And if there isn't any in your area, you can create one. I mean, Lady T has mentioned that, she actually took the lead and started one. And I just want to add something. Schools, if you're in the UK and you have children who are the age of, going to school, education, speak to schools. They do have also valuable resources, and in the UK, I don't know about other countries, but in the UK they do have resources that parents can use. Even nurseries, they have resources, so speak to them, and they will definitely be also a valuable source of support for single parents. We have, let me see, any other contribution before we move on to our next question? I don't want to rush anybody. Or is there anything that panelists want to add? You're on mute, Lady T.
I think I just wanted to add to the fact that, sometimes we tend to just look for practical support, but you have to also be thinking about, support that would help to cater for your mental and emotional well-being. So I think that's a major, major, major one, because life is stressful for everybody, but even more stressful for you as a single parent, because of the sole responsibility that you bear, and a lot of the stresses then begin to impact on our what we call parenting capacity. Not because you're a bad parent, you're not, but you're just doing the job of two people. You're trying to compensate so hard that it begin to impact on your mental and emotional well-being, and you cannot show up the way you want to show up for your children if you don't look after that, number one. And so it's important, and this is where I had to access support around counseling. This is where counseling became big for me, and this is where, and also around trauma, and this is where all of that kind of support, and those are reliable support, because then you form a relationship with someone that can hold you through your emotional journey, to help you to unpick and come to that place where you are actually you're actually relieved, or you come to the solutions that you want for your life, and you can actually begin to make progress on your journey. But I just wanted to throw that in there, that it's not just the areas that we've spoken about, but your mental and emotional well-being is very key. And if that is not taken care of, if you don't take care of it, it's going to impact even your physical health, or your
100%.
ability to even be able to form relationships with others.
100%. So well said. Because Lady T, just to amplify what you said, you can only give what you have.
Yes.
So if you're empty, you will actually give emptiness. If you full of life, you will give life as well. And like Mary Lou again has said something here. She said the lessons I hear from the panelists is that single parents need to put themselves out there and seek the support, integrate the groups and not retreat oneself to help alleviate the challenges they face. 100%, Mary Lou. Yes, panelists, will you agree with Mary Lou?
Absolutely.
Got the message? Well
Absolutely.
done. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Matilda also agrees. She says spot on. So that's fantastic. And I can see Lady T just shared her group connection is called World Women Connection. So it's virtual as well, isn't it, Lady T? So people can join virtually and join your group virtually, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
With no boundaries. So regardless of where you are, you can join in and connect with that group. So thank you for that. Now, I don't know if anybody wants to add something, and I would just say somebody mentioned the church. So it's part of your spiritual well-being. You got your emotional well-being, mental health, and physical. So all that is part of who you are, and definitely those tips we heard are valuable ones. I've got our third question, which will be our last question before we round up and see if there's any more comment. The last one is, in your opinion, what role do community organizations like the one we have, or any other you might know, and local initiatives play in facilitating the formation and maintenance of support network for single parents? And how can individuals get involved? So people do want to get involved, but how do they do that? So, and the role for that's your opinion. So, Lady T, again, are you ready for that one?
Yeah, I think thank God for people like you, Laurence, because yes, you're not a single mom, but at some point, I know part of your journey, you can empathize, because you had that gap of your life where it was almost like you were raised by a single parent. But so you can almost kind of like empathize to an extent. But I think what I want to encourage is for single parents like myself, like those who are on this platform, who really know what it means to be a single parent. Because somebody would say, oh, you can't tell me this because you haven't walked in my shoes. But I can actually say to them, actually, I have walked in your shoes. I am walking in your shoes, and so I understand, and so I can relate to them, and that connection helps people to actually be able to open up. And so there is a lot that people can do, and you don't have to have it all together. I started giving from the little that I had, and so when you just are able to put your own problems aside to a little to one side for a while and just be a blessing to others, you will be shocked at the level of strength that you gather and how that becomes quite fulfilling. And so in terms of the community organization and local initiatives playing a role in facilitating support network, I think that's really where we're headed, because all we hear about is government cuts here, cuts there, cuts here, cuts there. So the government has no money to actually be able to provide the kind of support that single parents need. And unfortunately, it's almost at the back burner. It's not priority at all. And so it's opportunities like this, and like obviously what I'm doing, and want to be doing a lot more of is really the future to an extent. And so it's almost like somebody has to be meeting the needs of the single parents. And when you realize it, gone are the days when a typical household is mom and dad. It's the rate at which single parent household is rising is alarming. I mean, I won't even bother going into statistics because we don't have the time. But if you have the time, you just go through research. It's there. In the UK, 21% have the highest number of children, 21%. And in America, 23%. So it's growing at an exponential rate. It's increasing on a daily basis. So if the government is not meeting the needs, because they don't have the resources and it's not a priority for them. And also bear in mind, some people are choosing to actually become single parents. So it's also a kind of like a choice. I want to be a single parent. So it's like, and there are individuals that have needs, and the economic pressure, environmental pressures, relationship pressures, all of this pressures comes and makes it quite difficult. So for organizations like this, I mean, Laurence, I think this is very important, and I'm quite passionate about reaching out to single parents. And even in my practice as a social worker, it is something that I do not take lightly at all. I work very passionately, not discriminately, with my single parents, because I understand where they are. And obviously it doesn't mean I compromise on the standards of my profession, no, but it's just that I get them. And if they were willing to work with me, I can bring the support and we can improve outcomes. So organizations like this, I think we just really need to know what, I think for me, the main areas that I've identified, which I'm quite passionate about, is around that emotional support, that opportunity for self-care. Self-care, we keep giving, and it's like, how do you replenish yourself? Like what are the resources you have around you to prioritize yourself so that you can keep showing up for your children? A stressed parent is going to raise a stressed child. Yeah. A broken parent, unstable parent is going to raise an unstable child. Not because you're evil and you're bad. It's just that you can only give, just to borrow Laurence's words, you can only give out of what is overflowing. And if what is overflowing is stress, that is what the kids are going to have. So, but I think we need to come together as single parents and really begin to empower each other and say, look, it does not define you. Just because you are a single parent does not mean you have to have those labels and those outcomes, because the government has already mapped out what the outcomes are. And if you and I don't do anything about it, that is exactly what is going to happen.
Okay, so joining what you just said, Lady T, for organization, community groups, or any initiatives that want to support single parents, are we talking about raising awareness that they need to have a voice as well? Because in the decision making table, we need single parents to be able to talk and say what they want. And I will link that to what we're doing for this project. We're starting with this project by giving a voice to single parents. So you are giving a voice to single parents, And if single parents don't come and join this platform when this is discussed, then that voice will die. So we need single parents to have a voice. Right now, we do have single parents as part of, who are participants, but we want to hear from them as well. You have an opinion about what is discussed, and your opinion is valued. On this platform, we want to hear from you. So please, we really welcome your comments. Appreciate if you have anything to say. If you disagree with what has been said, we want to hear that. Giving us example, you can keep everything anonymous, but it will enable organizations like this one to channel, our energy and our time into meeting your unmet needs, and that will trickle down to your children, your communities, and local, community and nationally. Yeah, I'm just bringing back, the focus on what Etiquette is doing. Etiquette is focusing on communities, but minorities. So on this panel and this platform, we do have all of us are minority group. We're part of minority groups, so it's really important that we are able to voice what we want to do, so we can grow and be heard as well. So Narcisse, I'm sure on this that you have also something to say about the last question that's been asked. So to you, please.
Yeah, just to grab to the last comment you made. Yeah, I understand that we want more single parents to get involved, but I will go back to the community organizations and the local initiative like yours at the moment. I think what we need to do is try to find different approaches on how we're going to get access to these people, because as Lady T said at the beginning, some single parent, the stigma in the society, not everyone is really ready to come up and open up to others. So it's also us thinking on how we're going to go to these people so that they can come out. And this is really most important. And they need to understand the support is not just about money. Because I'm going to make you laugh. I sent the link to one of my friends. I said, yeah, are you going to be able to join this evening? And the first question she asked me is, is there money there? I say, no, it's not about money. It's just join and then you're going to find out. So people may be just thinking, yeah, I can only go there if I need something. But just in sharing your own experience with others, that will be benefit for other people in the group. So I think the focus for me, yeah, you do play a very, very important role. Yeah, I know for a fact that involves getting funding so that you can set up these kind of sessions and other events. But even with the small funding these organizations have, they can still do a lot for this category of people, single parent.
Thank you, Narcisse. And it's interesting. Money is a catalyst for a lot of things, isn't it? And unfortunately, it doesn't answer. It doesn't answer all. So I think what we have is more than money, because if you are unwell, even if you have money, you can't really enjoy that money. So we are trying to relieve stress, because when people are stressed, there's so many, the impact of stress on individuals and communities is massive, and Lady T said it. Now, we don't have any more questions, but we would like to really welcome any contribution now from anybody who's all the participants. Usually these sessions are only done within 1 hour. Yeah, this is the first time we extended to 8:30 p.m. So just to give people a chance, to speak, to say what they want to say, to ask questions. If you have any question for our panelists or for myself, including myself, please, this is an opportunity for the audience to ask those questions. And also, panelists, if you have any other comment to make, this is also an opportunity for you to add any comment in relation to the topic. Yes?
I got one, Laurence.
Yes, hi, George.
Hi. I've got a comment. I think this is my opinion. I think single parent in the African community need more approach. I believe the single parent is being mistaken with, like my brother said before, issue with the money. They think if they go single, they'll go their own house, they'll get payout, they'll go support from social care. But I think that's all the mistake is being made. Because if you look a single parent today, especially in the African community, their contribution, you go to school, the worst student you get is showing to the single parent. And I give you my experience when I was about to put my kids in secondary school. The most advice I was given is not to put your children, not to put your children where there are more single parents children. You see what I mean? Because the education wise, people believe there's a solid education where children come in from both parents, father and mother. There's a solid education than where there's only single parents. That's one side. The other side, if you look our society, you go, let's say, you have a plan for your children, you have a plan for mortgage, all these stuff. So to get stuff like a mortgage by yourself as a single parent, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. You can get support from social care and all this, but that won't allow you to get mortgage to invest for your children. You see what I mean? Because they got big funding or big loan of mortgage. You need support from both parents. That means you need this income and that income. You see what I mean? I'm talking about the future. Even if you look at, for example, let's say in our retirement, our pension, your pension is more strong where you both parents are together than just single parents. It's just my opinion of thinking. It's a lot of work being a single parent. He asks you to do a lot. If you got no children, there's no problem. But if you got children, it's a lot of work to do by yourself. This country, we already busy. Even we are two, we already busy. But I can imagine with you, if you just by yourself, how much you're gonna give to the children.
Okay.
So that's really my worry about the single parent we are.
Okay.
So
okay, so thank you for that, George. I think you said different. You're giving us different aspect of in your opinion. One was linking up with what Narcisse said about and Lady T, that it's difficult to be. It's not easy to be a single parent. We do acknowledge that. The other bit was in relation to the misunderstanding about, specifically we talk about the UK because you are in the UK, and other countries function differently. For example, for those in South Africa, there is no benefit for single parent. There is no, there's no cushion, if I can use that, or what you can actually fall on if you are, unemployed or on your own. So it's a different dynamic. So here in the UK, single parents or people who are on low income can access some support. But what George is saying is that there's a misconception that for some people think that they're actually better off not being in a relationship or just be on their own, so they can accept more funding. Yes, Matilda, you will contribute definitely. However, what George is saying, that it's a misconception, because down the line, when you want to achieve certain things, you find yourself stuck. Like it's mentioned, funding. Like for mortgage, yes, there are some single parents who earn more than two, people. The salary is actually combined can become that's quite a lot depending on what you're earning. However, there is now that's a limitation that is saying that people need to be aware of. Am I right to say that, George? If I summarize what you said, just want your approval or disapproval. George, you're on mute.
Yeah, that's why, Lawrence. That's why I don't said you have to force your relationship to work if it doesn't work. But I've got the American model. So which is something is missing to us. The American model is like, if it doesn't work, yeah, parents we're gonna be separated, but we all work for the children. I don't know if they will
Yes,
still there.
yes,
There's
yes.
still children going to both parents. They will still, if you are here, we need to achieve a mortgage house for the kids and whatever. We will put ourselves together, even with separated. We put
Okay.
children in the first place, which is different to the African community we have in the UK. Most going for single parent because I can get more money from the government, then I can buy my shoes, I can buy I don't know, whatever I can spend, but it doesn't benefit to the children. Remember, we've done our time, we've done our rights. This is now the time to give the children we got. They didn't decide to come to this world. We decide for them to be there for us. So we need to give them the best to get we can for the children. We need to put children first in our interest. We need to look, are we gonna be able, if we're going single parent, to support their school? Their schooling, like I said, I give you example. Where I live, I'm from Leicester. Where I live, I'm just opposite to me, to my house. There's a school, but that school doesn't got a good reputation because it's full of single parents and in white community. You see what I mean?
I like the way you
So
say it's full
you
of single
think,
parents
yeah,
because people will say it's full of black people, it's full of women, it's full of young people, it's full of,
exactly,
we put
That's the first time I'm hearing that.
we putting them
exactly.
in a pocket.
Eh,
So, George, we have to be
And
very careful the language we use when we say it's full of. I know it's
Single
not.
parent.
I'm not you paraphrasing what you repeating what people have said, but we have to be very careful in this in this century. What stigmatization? Yes, I like that.
right,
Frida.
okay,
People can
sorry
get
about that.
no offense, but full of, and everybody was single
Sorry,
before they actually got in a relationship. Let's
it's
remember that.
sorry, it's plenty of children coming from single parent. So it's not bad things. It's education, but it's
Yes.
also came from single parent from the white community because I marry more white people, and what we know there, easily you get those young children easy to swear and all this. So we try to avoid that. We try to avoid that. That's why we go to other school rather than school which is just opposite to my house. It's just one of the example. But I
Okay.
don't. If a relationship doesn't work, like I said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. But we've
Okay.
got the American model is there, which
Okay.
which works for the single parents. So rather than when I see in the UK.
Thank you. I want us to keep, two things that you said, George, and I'll just keep the rest because we can spend the whole evening, unpicking that. But there's two things you said is the American model. When you mentioned, I'm not familiar with that model, but you said something about the focus on the children. So parents together or not together, focusing on the children. I think that's a good approach. And today we're focusing on the support network. So if parents, if they're not together, they can still being part of the STEM network in terms of, making it work for the children. That's fantastic. That's definitely something people want to reflect on. I know we've got some contribution as well. And I just want to be mindful, the people, everybody who's here, that we were all single at some point. So not everybody was always, in a relationship. And some people will lose their partner not because they're actually separated, but maybe because the partner has died. So that's another form of becoming single as well. And there's also a third type of singleness, when people can be married but actually live a single life within the marriage. So this is a hidden part of single life that people know. It's become more and more apparent because of financial crisis in the world, and that's quite generalized. So we have to be very careful of stigmatization. I really encourage you to be mindful of that. I can see somebody wanted to contribute. I know Aditi wants to say something, but I'm going to read some comments because they're coming one by one. So David says, can panelists recommend some self-care resources, habit they found helpful? And I will ask Lady T and Narcisse if you have any self-care resources and habits they found helpful. If it's not very clear the question, you can ask him to be more specific. He will do that. Is it clear to you what was he asking for?
No.
Okay, Lady T, is it clear to you?
Yeah, it is,
Okay, can you give, if you have anything in mind, and then we ask Matilda then she wants to say something, contribute as well. So Lady T, and then we ask Matilda.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, I think in terms of what the habits, okay, you have to, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, you have to have a way to look after yourself. You must intentionally find a way to look after yourself. So that was something that I had to fight for, and I'm still fighting to maintain it. So I'll take myself out, because also that's the other thing, you can't wait for the girls to organize an outing for me to go out, or so I would, if it's a day where I know that there is somebody that can look after the kids, then I'll take myself to the movie. I would go to the movies by myself, and just go and watch a movie, or when they've gone to bed, just have something that you do on a daily basis. You might not have the finances to go to the movies, but just have something to do, even if it's just as simple as soaking yourself on a day. I know, okay, please don't think too much about water bill either, but just have what works for you. You must have something that helps your mind to unwind. That's what I'm trying to say. After you have poured into the kids, because you do then need to care and practice compassion for yourself. So the daily habit for me is, what am I doing to contribute to my own self-care? I don't have a lot of time, but I make sure every day at least 15 minutes. All right. I would go for a walk, or I now even found out that I don't even need to go out into the cold. I now join YouTube. I walk at home, and that's good for my mental health. 20 minutes, I'm done. It's so refreshing. I do it every day. It now helps my mental well-being, my emotional, all the feel-good hormones begin to come out, so just find you a way to treat yourself. Whatever works for you, find it. I'm telling you, it releases feel-good hormones. Don't forget, all the stress is releasing cortisol, which is really bad for you, for your well-being. So do anything that would help to release the endorphins, the feel-good hormones, which would then begin to help to counteract that. So for you, maybe it might be knitting, whatever it is that makes you feel good. You want to activate all that feel-good hormones. So that's one resources. Walking, if you want to. Resources in terms of obviously linking into, I've just put some stuff out there in terms of, please hook in, with what I'm doing, with what Laurence is doing, with organizations that are supporting single moms. But not just that, I do not just limit myself to just organizations within mental single women. I go out to to link into resources that would help me financially, that would help me. It doesn't matter who is delivering it, because if I'm okay financially, the stress will be reduced. So basically, just linking in, identify what you need. What do you need? Then look for the resources. Like my brother, like Narcisse said, Narcisse, there is so much out there. Look for what you need and tap into the internet is so wide. But obviously, please, by all means, hook in with what I'm doing, and I would be able to signpost you into all the things that are happening.
You won't be disappointed. Thank you. Can I just, again, say that this question is, yes, it's addressed to the panelists, but everyone, if you have any idea, anything you want to share, any
Yes.
self-care resources, habits, just put that in the message section. We just want to discuss. We want to hear something new, something that we haven't done. Just inspire us, please. And I just want to give on this chance to Matilda. She has something to say. You said you'd like to contribute, please. Matilda, are you ready?
Oh yeah, hi. See, I don't know whether my son is going to let me talk through what I wanted to talk through, but thank you everybody for all your contributions. I've learned quite a lot. I wanted to talk about us appreciating that there are 3 people involved in the journey that's happening, assuming there's children, okay? So the woman, the man, and the child or children that's going on the journey. And sometimes we see the destination of people. We see that they used to be single parents and now they're married with children or they're flourishing, and we don't know the journey they went through. When you're going through it, I'm currently going through it. And when it started, I didn't even realize that I was going on that journey, even though I knew that some of my friends had already been through that journey. So it was for me gaining that clarity and understanding of my own circumstances, understanding what's happening inside my home and inside my relationship, to understand that this is what's happening. And I need to start taking responsibility as a woman and as the mother of my child to do certain things and put systems in place to make sure that I raise a responsible child while maintaining, the peace and the order in the household. A second point I want to mention is I think it's easy for the stigma to continue, and it's easy for you to also think as a victim, as a mother or as a father. And I'm going to emphasize more on mother, because rarely men choose to be single. They prefer women around, even if they don't want to be involved with you. They would rather you remain as a child of them, as a child of their mother. And rarely as well, when they lose their partners, that's when they consider being single. But women are forced to, because of circumstances in their relationship, in character situations, in their partners. Sometimes there's family, extended family, problems and a lot of things, financial problems. There's a lot I can say on it actually, but I'm just going to keep it brief. So a lot of women are not single by choice, even though that element is very much present in this day and age, okay? You can choose that option if it saves your family in the long run. Someone told me years ago that it's better you raise your child alone than have a man present if he's going to be a disruption to the journey that your child is taking on. And sometimes the dangerous thing that we do is to keep an unhealthy person around, just in the, for the sake of being seen as being in a relationship or married or whatever. But what if that person is toxic? And sometimes it's the woman as well. So while you're pointing finger, you have to do some self-assessment as well. Whatever is happening inside of you, you got to be aware of it and understand what is happening with you. I think it's also the responsibility of women right now, especially those in single parent situations, to be mindful of the resources that are available to them. If you don't know it, seek it. It took me a long time before I realized I was even eligible for universal credit. I didn't even know that. Do you know what I mean? So those things, maternity, grant, all those little things you need to be mindful of. And when you get access to it, it's your responsibility to steward that money in wisdom for the long term, as opposed to, squandering it in the very shortest term that you can't find. Okay. I want to also mention that it's important that we don't blame people. Okay. And I don't want to make the. I can't remember the person that spoke. He mentioned about, there's lots of single parents, and ideally, I'm not going to lie, as a single parent, I wouldn't want to go into a place where they say everyone is a single parent. I would want my child to be exposed to different cultures and, different things as well. But let's not also encourage the language around stigmatizing, so that the children are almost like secondary victims of the woman's circumstance almost, okay? That's also a stigmatization that shouldn't pass on to the next generation. It's not a healthy thing for an innocent person to go through. And I say that because one time someone said this comment to me at church and I didn't like it. And my son was crying, and then the person said, "Oh, I don't blame him because he has no father figure around." It's not a kind thing, even though the person has met my son's dad, has also he's seen him around, and he know that he only just left literally about 3 weeks before he said that comment. And I was like, wow, it's only 3 weeks, and that. And imagine if he had left say 7 years ago, what would you have said? Do you know what I mean? So it's the language around that. We might not be it's easy for us to say certain things to women in certain situations, but sometimes the woman is not the fault of the woman. Sometimes women have to make very difficult decisions for the sake of, and it might be temporary. Who knows God's journey for the person? Do you know what I mean? It might be a temporary thing, so we have to be mindful. Even if it's people within our home, sometimes it could be your parents saying those things to you, or your siblings, or your friendship circle. So we have to be mindful about the language that we use. It might not be intentional, but be conscious about how you communicate with women who have had to become single parents, whether by choice or by the circumstances in the home, because you don't know what actually happens in people's homes for them to make that choice, or for them to become. There is a becoming, and it can happen to anybody at any point in their life, whether you've been married 20 years or 50 years. For the women, my advice sorry, I'm talking a lot. For the women, I think my advice, Lady T mentioned it, a lot of self-care, a lot of consciousness about how you maintain your money, and make sure that you become richer than you were before you became a mother. And every year try and get better financially, whether by saving or by investing. Don't keep your money all saved up. Try and invest some, take some risk in life, and upgrade yourself and level up in life. And I think you should consume mind transforming and renewing content. The Bible says let us be renewed by transformed by the renewing of our minds. I don't want to make this a biblical session, but I'm going to mention it. It is a point, and if it was said by, say, Bill Gates, we would have all gone along with it. So I'm going to mention that. And also, I think we should maintain.
Matilda, I'm sorry to talk over you, but I would like you to round up so that we can give.
Okay, my last point is not remaining in the victim mindset or victim circle, and being mindful about not maintaining strife with your partner. We spoke about it the last Zoom session. Communicating very, very well with your partner in a way where you don't introduce conflict and the children just watch and they grow up, thinking drama is like the thing. So thank you all for listening. Sorry, that was too long.
Thank you. I can feel the passion in most people who have spoken, which is really good. And I just want to emphasize on one thing. And when we talk about single parents, I know women have spoken from their own experiences. So we need more men to talk, because we're in the women's perspective, and the understanding for women is like, yes, the number of women who actually come out with the stories and experiences is much higher than men. We do have men, even on this panel, even on this platform, who are actually single fathers, who have the children with them. So this is something that we don't hear much from men, and that's why when resources are allocated, or there's opportunities that are created for single parents, women tend to benefit more because it's more targeted at women. So men, we are actually encouraging you on this platform. Etiquette encourages you to come forward more and tell us your opinion, your experiences, so you can also be acknowledged as, not victim, but as a group in our society who are also doing a great job, and also find yourself in those situations where perhaps a woman, it wasn't your doing for actually finding you in that situation. So, we want everybody to have a voice, the women, the men, and children. So on this, I will, somebody said, well said, Matilda. Yes. Yes, I like that. And yes, you have your book that you can look at, search for Lady T's book. Now, we also have a contribution from George, who said that's your organization that's planned to do outreach program, especially within minority communities, as a way to combat the stigma attached to single parenthood. Definitely, Joyce, it's on our to-do list as an organization. We are calling for more volunteers. We do have few volunteers who have come, along the way. So we are calling for more volunteers to help us identify those communities, those where we can actually, target, that we can target to do our outreach, because we do have a lot of communities, like in the town where we are in Northampton. However, to approach those communities and to identify them, we need, the support to link up with those communities, and volunteers, contribution is needed at the moment. And yes, there is a need for stigmatization to be, to be addressed. And again, I just want to say just to emphasize what George said before, what he was saying was just, repeating what was said, and he's right. You're right, Matilda, and all of you. The language, we need to be able to challenge that language. What is used to be said needs to change, because it's not, something of benefit, our society. But I think we're in the right direction. We're heading in the right direction. The fact that we're having those discussions, and the fact that these discussions are happening in our, in those community, African community, or minorities. So it's definitely a step ahead in the 21st century, like Narcisse said. On this, we only have a few minutes left, so I will ask our panelists if they have any last comment they want to make before we end. What do you want people to be left with? Your last word, one sentence, something sweet and short for them. I'll start again with Lady T, and then I come to Narcisse after that.
Yeah. I think I just want to say that you are doing a damn good job as a single parent, carrying the load of 2 people, all right, and having a job, or even if you're not working it's full-time job, being a single mom. You are doing a fantastic job. You need to just lift your head up. You need to care for yourself, and you need to just make sure that you're not listening to anybody. This is not about anybody's opinion. This is your life. You have the opportunity to rewrite your story. So you can't do anything about the past. Write a beautiful story and design the kind of future that you want for yourself. That power is within you.
Thank you. Very powerful. Narcisse, to you?
Yeah, no, not much really to say, but to just complete what has been said before. Being single, it's just a mindset. If you want to be a single, you're going to be a single. But from my own experience, I got a lot of friends and colleagues who are single. I'm talking about females single, and they do much better than even married people or single men. Yeah, so being a single should not be a barrier for you to achieve what you want to achieve. Yes, I acknowledge that it's very challenging. However, it's not a reason for you not to achieve what you want to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you, our panelists, and thank you all our participants for joining us again on this fantastic platform, Etiquette. So we are here to empower our communities. This single parent project is one of our projects running we started in December, and then up to May. In May we will have a big celebration, and we will share these information on different platforms. We have a platform on Instagram. So if you want to know a little bit more about activities, you can go on Instagram and you will find us. I'll ask Matilda to please put our details in the chat section on our platform that we have at the moment. We are looking at supporting, the moment, single parent. We have a bit of funding to support, again, some of them who wants to have a taste of what counseling or coaching or, or mentoring as well feels like. So that these are the 3 options. So mentoring, coaching, and counseling. You can have a taste. We have a bit of funding for that. Just link up with us, and we will give you a little bit more information on that. We will have another session, a Zoom session next month. We will communicate the time on our platform and the day. It will be on Zoom. And after May, we will have more Zoom sessions, just catch up and follow-up sessions. And we're also planning on having one get together. I will use that word in during the summer, and that will be actually face to face, so people can actually meet, other people, and perhaps network, or even make form relationships, long-lasting relationships. So this is also on the plan. And so after that, we will also want to hear from you feedback, because we cannot improve without your honest feedback. So your feedback is valid. We have our details have been shared. Check us on Instagram, and you also have our details also on the flyer that we sent, so we can contact us as well on the flyer. And in the future, we will have other programs. So if you have ideas, resources, self-care, ideas, please share them with us, and we will also cascade and share them with different people who are here. We want to thank our sponsors, the National Lottery Community Fund, for enabling us to have this event and this project to come into existence. We also thank the men of God who have joined us today, Pastor Mususu, Prophet Samuel Mususu, all the way from Leeds. I thank all the panelists. Lady T has been, with us all the way through the journey, and Narcissus as well. Thank you very much. And people who have joined this platform, really grateful for your participation, your contribution, that we take definitely on board, we take into account. And so it's Friday evening, and in the UK it's 8:26. So we're ending this session and these discussions on a high note. So well done, single parents, well done, communities. Stay together and have your say and make your days count. Thank you all.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
Laurence.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.